So today I'm going to be telling y'all my experience working for Sheetz. I do not want this video to come out too long, and make sure that you guys give this video a thumbs up. If you have not subscribed to my channel, subscribe right now. Let's jump right into the video. So what is the name of the company and a little background of the company? The name of the company is Sheetz. So I worked as an overnight supervisor for Sheetz. It's a convenience store and a gas station. It is a 24-hour gas station, but it also has like a place where you can dine in and eat. It's mostly in like Pennsylvania, Maryland, Virginia. They have one I think in Ohio, and they also have one in North Carolina. So it's in mostly the eastern region, and it's in like the rural areas of Maryland, not in like the city areas. I think they have one in Frederick, but the one that I worked at was the one located in the Hagerstown area. How long did I work there? Number 2. I worked there from the hire process, I would say 3 to 4 months. It took me a week to get like situated and in there after they actually hired me, but I only worked there for like 3 to 4 months. I didn't work there for a long time, but I didn't work there for a super short time either. I understood everything by the time I left. Number 3. Why did you choose to work there? So I chose to work at Sheetz because at the time I was working at Marshall's. I'll leave a link in the description box to that video if you guys want to check that out. But I was working at Marshall's, and it was like $10 an hour to work at Marshall's, and I just couldn't do it. And at the time, like, you know, in the area there's not really that much jobs that paid that well because it's not that expensive to live in the area. So the minimum wage was $10, and of course I didn't want to be a supervisor or anything. If I was gonna be a supervisor, I would want to do it of like retail. I didn't really want to be a supervisor at a gas station, but it was the only job at the time that paid $14 an hour. I really liked that the pay was $14 an hour, and I also liked the fact that it was a gas station because I knew it would be very fast paced, and that means that, you know, I could get my hours like done just like that. Come in my shift and come out. It's gonna be very busy all the time. The location was very good. There's a lot of Sheetz around me. It's like a gas station, so you know there's a lot in the area. So it was only like 10 minutes away from my house. So the location, the pay was good. It's fast paced, and it also is open 24 hours. So the fact that it was a 24 hours overnight franchise was really good benefit for me because I can kind of figure in a schedule for like school, and I could still work because there's a bunch of hours, and they gave pretty good hours. I mean, if they liked you, you usually get like 8-hour shifts, sometimes 12-hour shift. It varies, but they have a lot of hours to give because it's always open 24 hours. So those are all good bonuses, and those are all why I chose to work for Sheetz. Number 4, what was the application process like? So it was an online application. I didn't do a paper application. Everything is online. It was not a very difficult online application, but there is a part in the application where after you fill out all the main information and background stuff about yourself, it'll tell you to do like an assessment or something like that, or a questionnaire, and you'll have to log in, and you'll log in the password that you signed up with, and for some reason it won't work, and you always have to reset it. And so that kind of took some time, and it irritated me so much that like I held back on doing the application, and I finished it the next day. But I did get it done. It was online. They ended up emailing me to do the interview. They will email you if you don't get the interview as well, because I had applied to another Sheetz location and I did not get the job there. They will let you know if they move forward with somebody else, but they also email you to let you know that you need to call them for the interview. The email is going to tell you not a time or anything to come in. It's going to tell you give the store a call to set up an interview. After I received the email, I called them, and I was asked to come in the next day for a face-to-face interview with the kitchen manager. So that brings me to number 5. What was the interview process like? So the interview process was very, I guess, easy, straight to the point. I wore jeans. I wore something very casual because this is a gas station. Of course, you don't want to wear anything too revealing and too sexy, and you don't want to wear anything bummy to any job interview. But I didn't go to this job interview like I did for my JCPenney one, and I wore like a blouse and like button-down pants and heels. No, I just wore like plain blue jeans and a black plain shirt, something very nice and formal, and some boots with a cardigan. So I looked very put together, but it was very casual since it's a gas station. And there was 2 interviews. I don't know if every single Sheetz in every state does 2 interviews, but the Sheetz that I worked at, they always do 2 interviews. The first interview I had with the kitchen manager, she was a female, and she basically, when I had applied, I applied for the supervisor position, but I also applied for the regular team employee position. And I applied for the team employee position, which pays less money, but I applied for that one because I honestly didn't know if they were gonna hire me as a supervisor, because this is my first job where I officially got hired in as a supervisor, not just a regular cashier. So the first time I had my interview, she told me that, you know, at the time, in the moment, they're not really looking for a supervisor. And you know, I was fine with that because at the time, even if I didn't get the supervisor position, I still was gonna be able to make more money than I was making at Marshall's. So I didn't really care if I didn't get the supervisor position or not. But when I did my second interview, she ended up calling me like, I think 3 days later to set up another interview. This time I did my second interview with the manager. Like, he was not the general manager, I'm sorry. This was just the regular store manager. He mentioned to me like, right away, like, you know, are you interested in being a supervisor? So I don't know what change of heart happened, what happened, but he basically told me that, yeah, like, we're looking for a supervisor. He asked me about any experience, and I never had official experience getting hired in as a supervisor. But when I worked for Corner Bakery, I got hired in as a cashier, but I worked in the kitchen and I did a lot of stuff working side by side with the manager and the supervisor there. So I was just like, you know, I kind of used that and I tweaked it a little bit. I'm not gonna lie to you guys, but it's not like I lied. I did do supervisor work. So I mentioned that. And so I mentioned that I could handle the supervisor position. And to be honest, just because you haven't had like supervisor experience, don't let that like get you down and think that you won't get a position for like a supervisor or a manager position. Number one, you have to start somewhere. It's not hard to do it. You know, you're always going to find a way to learn everything. Once you work at a company for a while, you pick up on everything. So you don't have to have a bunch of manager experience or supervisor experience to be a good supervisor. After the second interview with the manager, with the guy, it went by really fast. I wore like around the same thing with him. I try not to wear the same thing, obviously, because it's the same company, but I wore a very casual outfit, and he called me actually the next day or 2 days later, and he told me that I got the job. After I got the job, I was super excited because, you know, it's right next to my crib, it's 24 hours, all that shit. After you like get the job, it's kind of like a long process, and I will say the whole hiring process is kind of long for a gas station, but I guess they have to do their background checks, and it is like very safe and secure the way that they do it. You have to receive an email after they call you and let you know that you got the job. They tell you that you're gonna receive an email from them. So once you receive the email, it's gonna say some information about doing a drug test and a background check. Yes, you do have to do a drug test for working at Sheetz. I heard from like another manager that supposedly they do not test for marijuana in your system. I am not positive about that, so Don't go smoking a blunt and then get hired and do your drug test and think that you're gonna pass because you heard that from me. But you do have to do a drug test. You do have to do a background check. The background check is not primarily focusing on your criminal background. So if you are a felon or if you have a misdemeanor or whatever, they will still hire you. Sheetz, in fact, likes to hire a lot of felons because they think that felons, you know, like people that don't do crime and stuff, and they work at Sheetz as a gas station job, they work at it like it's just a little gas station job, you know, it's just a little bit of some side money. But they look at the people that have like felonies and stuff, and they really like appreciate them because they think that, you know, it's hard for them to get a job. And the people that have felonies usually come in on time and they show up for work and they always get the extra hours, and you know, they do all that stuff. So they're not like gonna judge you if you're a felon or if you have any criminal background, but it's really to make sure that when you apply and you put your job history, that it's accurate. Because a lot of people lie about their job history, and a lot of people will apply for manager experience and say they were a manager at this store, and they're gonna do a background check to make sure that you did not lie. Now if you lied like that, then there might be an issue and they might not hire you, but there is a chance that they can look past that. It just depends on the people. After all that, they gave me another phone call, and they basically, once they received like my drug test and my background test, the drug test is free. You print out a paper, you schedule the appointment, you have 5 days to do the drug test from once they send you the email. So you cannot slack on it. You have 5 days to complete it. You go to a location, they send you the address, you pee. It was a urine test, not a hair or blood test. I peed in a private room, and you give the pee sample to the doctor, and they email or, you know, send the results to Sheetz. From there, they will give you a call, and once they received it, they called me and they set up my orientation, which is not very long. It's a paid orientation, and it's where you get your name tag. They make your name tag for you, give it to you there. They'll give you 2 extra name tags, and they just show you around the place. It's not a very big place, and they might tell you a little bit of what you're gonna be doing. So now the 6th thing, what was the uniform like? So I'm wearing my Sheetz uniform. I'm just not wearing my shoes, and I'm not wearing my pants, but this is the hat that I had to wear. This is the supervisor hat. If you are a regular team member, you would not wear a black hat, you would wear a red hat. The supervisors, this is not the shirt that the supervisors wear. Let me show you the supervisor shirt. So this is the shirt that generally supervisors wear. It's like a gray jeanish like material, and it's a button down shirt. So regular team members wear this shirt. Can you guys see it good? So this shirt right here is a regular team member shirt. It's not a button down shirt, and you guys can clearly see it's a lot less like formal. So they try to keep like the managers and stuff in a business type look, and they try to keep the team members in more of t-shirt casual wear. This is what you usually wear. They have green shirts for the team members, but if you're a supervisor, you're always gonna wear gray. And I think they also have black shirts, they have red shirts, they have a bunch of shirts for the team members. Supervisors always wear gray, and managers, they wear red button-up shirts. Same material, but the color is red. They do give you name tags. I'm wearing mine right now. This is the name tags that it comes with, so you guys can see it. It says Kelsey Supervisor. So it really just says your name. It doesn't say your last name like a lot of other companies. You don't have to put an initial. It's just gonna be your first name, the logo, and it's gonna tell if you're a team member or if you're higher up. So the good thing about the name tags that I liked, a lot of people don't take this into consideration. This name tag is actually really good quality. It's not a pin name tag, it's actually a magnetic name tag, as you can see right here. And it comes with this little pin right here. I'm gonna show you guys. This pin right here is a magnet. So you're not gonna poke yourself. When I worked at Corner Bakery, and I think it was Chipotle, I think they had like the pin name tags. So that was the cool thing. They're a little bit more high-tech and advanced about that, and they have a little focusing on customers since 2019. It just tells when you started working. So I think that's really helpful if you're like kind of the new girl and you're lost. People will know that you just started working there. Yeah, you pretty much have to wear a hat. They do have jackets if you want jackets, but I think you have to pay for them. But the shirts are free and they give you unlimited shirts. Just ask them. They have a bunch of sizes. And this is a net hat. So it's a full cap hat, it's a net hat, and it just says Sheetz right here. And all you have to wear for the bottom is jeans, just dark blue jeans or black work pants. You cannot wear leggings, so do not wear that. They will send you home. And sneakers are the shoes that you should wear. You really just have to wear shoes that you're not gonna slip in, non-slip shoes that you can get at like Walmart or Target. But I wore some Nike sneakers. So number 7, what was the pay like? So the pay for Sheetz was pretty good for the area I'm in. I mean, it's not the highest pay, but it actually pays a lot more than a lot of the places around me. And it's really surprising because like Marshalls and stuff is such an multi-billion-dollar, you know, franchise, and they only pay their workers $10 an hour. So Sheetz, they pay the supervisors $14 an hour. The pay had just went up, so I think it was like $13.50 and it went to like $14 this year. But there's a lot of bonuses that you can get with Sheetz, and I'll get a little bit more into that. Now, the regular team members, they only get paid $11.50 an hour, but this is where I'm gonna say there's a lot of bonuses. So if you get like SMGs, like if you get a lot of surveys, when people check out on their receipt, there's always a survey at the bottom. So if you get a lot of good surveys, then they can give you a bonus and you can get paid more. So there's always a way where you can make more money and, you know, raise your pay. I don't know, it's really crazy, but Sheetz, out of all the jobs that I've worked at, I will say that is a good thing about them. There is always a way to make more money. You just have to be willing to ask questions and put in the work. Getting paid $11.50 an hour is pretty low for team members because I used to live in a more of a city area, and the minimum wage there is $13 an hour. So the minimum wage here being so low is like really bad, but the minimum wage being $10 up here, it's still $1.50 difference if you work as a team member at Sheetz. With the hours, the pay is actually pretty good. Like I said, it's a 24-hour franchise, so there's always a shitload of hours, and you're gonna be making $8. I mean, you're gonna be usually working 8-hour shifts, so you're gonna be making a lot of money if you're a supervisor. If you are a team member, you're gonna be making a decent amount of money. It's still both like not a huge load of money, but if you're a teenager and if this is like a job that's like a first-time job for you, it's gonna pay you a lot, especially if you don't have your degree yet or if you're working towards it. It's a lot better than a lot of other restaurant or other minimum wage jobs. Number 8, what are the main tasks of working at Sheetz? So the main tasks working at Sheetz were to check the temps. For me, since I was a supervisor, I had to check temperatures of the food. You have to check the temperatures every 4 hours. So since I was the new girl, they always like made me check the temps. And on your shift, since it's every 4 hours, you usually have to check the temps 2 times. It's really simple and easy though. You just take a thermometer. They have an electric one and it has like a probe, and you have a tablet. Basically they're connected and it reads the temperature on the tablet, and you just dip the thermometer in all of the food that it tells you to dip it in, and you have to have it at a certain temp, and you basically just calculate the temperature. It's not that much work. As a supervisor, honestly, that is like the #1 thing that I did that was different from what other team members would do. I didn't really do anything different than other team members. The other tasks task was to cook food. Other team members did that, not just supervisors. So supervisors really just check temps and do a little bit of extra paperwork. They don't do that much work that's different from the cashiers and regular team members there. All the food in the MTO section is pretty much fake and refrigerated, so it's just a matter of taking it out of the freezer, making sure everything is restocked, and heating up food and spreading like mayonnaise and stuff on sandwiches and wrapping it. That's all it really was. There's a fry station, so you have to deep fry things, but all the instructions are pretty much laid out. It's nothing that you cannot learn within like a couple days. And then the last task there is really ringing up register. Aside from cleaning, you're mostly gonna be ringing up register. And that even was really easy because their register system was really advanced. It's a touchscreen register system. Some places still don't have touchscreen yet. And all you have to do is scan barcodes and, you know, click total, click tender, and, you know, just record how much change somebody's giving you, put it in the system. It even tells you how much change to give them. And actually with Sheetz, what I loved about their register system is you don't have to actually count out the change. It spits out the change for you itself. So Sheetz is really advanced in that. All the tasks are pretty easy. Aside from that, all I really did there was clean, like sweep and mop, clean the bathrooms, and make sure that the coffees and stuff were filled, and the cappuccino machines and soda machines and stuff were cleaned and stocked. It's nothing that, you know, that can't be done. So number 9, my personal job experience. So my experience working at Sheetz, I'm not gonna break down too much so I ramble too much, but I honestly felt like Sheetz was very racist. I was like the second black girl that worked there. The other black girl that worked there, she was a coon. She had a white husband, and I'm not like dissing any interracial relationship, so do not take, you know, don't miscontext me or anything. But she really like made a lot of racist jokes with them, and she didn't see anything wrong with it because I feel like she was like a self-hating black woman. I don't know, that's another story. But it was another black guy there, and I think there was another black guy, he was 16 years old, and then there was me. The rest of the staff was all white. There was probably one Hispanic person, and that was another manager. And everybody else was white. Everybody else was blonde hair, blue eyes, or brown hair, blue eyes, brown hair, brown eyes, white, okay? But they were very racist. Like at first they didn't make me feel too uncomfortable being the only black girl, and I try to not go in there with that like mindset that like there's not that much black people there, so I didn't want to set myself up to be uncomfortable. But after being there for a while, they like opened up to me, and a lot of them like made a lot of racist jokes. They said a lot of racist slang, a lot of racial slurs were thrown. I heard a lot of that, so it was very racist. And you know, I even went and told a manager. I made a call to Store Solutions about it, and literally nothing was done. So maybe the whole company is racist because it's in a predominantly racist area. They don't have it in the city or like the more urban areas. They have it in the country areas where it's predominantly white. There was a lot of sexual harassment and like weird jokes there. Don't get me wrong, like I did like working at Sheetz, but like a lot of my coworkers, they just made me really uncomfortable. You know, some of their jokes were not funny. And do you guys know when you're at work and people are making these weird ass jokes and you just have to smile and play it off because you don't want to be like rude and make them feel uncomfortable? But I'm uncomfortable as fuck. So they made a lot of sexual jokes. Like my fucking ex-manager told me, you know, he would fuck me before. They played a lot of fuck, marry, kill, you know, a lot of inappropriate stuff you're not supposed to be doing as a manager. Now, when you're a team member, I understand people do stuff, but there's just a lot of sexual games that were played that a manager should not have been initiating playing. So that made me uncomfortable. Kind of felt like, you know how I dress, you see how pretty I am. A lot of customers would compliment me, so I know that I'm a pretty girl, and I'm not being vain or conceited. I know I'm a pretty girl and I'm gonna get compliments, but it's just like the same people, they kept pushing it and making me feel uncomfortable. And at the time I was dating my ex, and they knew that, and they did not give a fuck. They kept pushing it. And there was another incident that happened that really, you know, made me say I cannot tolerate working at Sheetz, because through the racism and through the sexual harassment and the sexual jokes and being told that, like, being told by like people that they want to fuck me and stuff, I could still tolerate it because, you know, it was still close to my house, the pay was still good, the hours were still good, so I could still tolerate it to a point. But there was a point where I just had to tell myself enough is enough, and that was when these supervisors were pretending to be slave masters. Now, I do not want to get too deep into that because I want to make it a separate story so I can get really into all the details without this video ending up too long. There was two supervisors. One of them stood quiet, and she was white. She just let everything happen. And the other was a old white lady. She was pretending to be a slave master to the other black boy that worked there, the one that I said that was 16 years old. And he's 16 years old, he's a fucking coon, and obviously he's gonna, like, he's young, so he's naive. And you know what he said? He replied to them, "Yes, master." Like, I was like, are you fucking serious? It let me down so much as another black person. But, you know, it was just the fact that she was a whole supervisor pretending to be a slave master. Like, it already kind of pissed me off that the black guy did that, but the fact that you're higher up and you're being unprofessional and racist, it really pissed me off. And that was really the turning point for me with Sheetz, where like I had to go. I ended up like not working at Sheetz anymore. I was trying to look for a new job anyways, and I ended up getting fired because I had the point system. So let me tell you guys about that. So literally, there's a point system for Sheetz. You have 27 points, right? 27 points until you get terminated. Now, you get points for being late to work, missing work, you know, no call, no shows, things like that. Once you get to the 27 mark and you've got 27 points, then you're up for termination. You're not going to be terminated right away, but HR is going to look into, you know, why you have 27 points, and they're going to determine if you're going to keep working at Sheetz or you're not. So let me tell y'all the fucked up shit that Sheetz did to me, because my racist ass Sheetz, I don't know if every Sheetz is gonna be like this, so, you know, don't judge it based off just my experience, but my racist ass Sheetz, once they did all the racist shit and everything to me, I stopped talking to them. And I kind of felt like they were trying to set me up to get me kind of out. The manager scheduled me for working 9 days straight. So I showed up for work, I worked 9 days straight. Now, prior to this, I did have up to 24 points. Now, that is a lot of points to accumulate in 3 to 4 months, I will say that. But I was not missing a lot of work. I missed work about 3 times, and they were just like no call. They were not no call, no shows, but they were me calling in last minute saying that I couldn't come into work. I had to drop my little brother off places, and shit just happens. So that happened to me 3 times working there in the 4 months, and they gave me, like, I forgot how much points each. You guys can do the math, but I got 24 fucking points for it. After that, I was like, you know, I cannot miss shit, so my brother needs to get on his shit. I cannot like be calling out for work, or I'm gonna lose this job. So what I did was I went to work every single day, didn't miss no work. I went to work on time. I was never late, but it was just those times that I couldn't come into work because it was a family emergency. They scheduled me for 9 days straight, and I worked those 9 days straight. Now, I've never worked at a job 9 days straight, but me being in and out the house, in and out the cooler, I managed to get fucking sick. So I got sick. There was a flu going around. It's still winter time, so there was a big flu going around, and I got sick, and I got sick really bad to the point where I was losing my voice. I wish I had a clip so you guys could hear how bad my voice sound, but I was losing my voice. and I was sneezing a lot. My throat was very rough. You know, I was throwing up. I was really nauseous. I had a headache. I was just all around super sick. So I was still coming into work, and I think the last time that I had to come into work was like 5 a.m. to 2 p.m. and I felt like shit, but I still came into work. I worked until 7 that day, and they told me basically, you know, you're too sick to be working in food and your voice is gone, because my voice was completely done. And my voice was gone, so they told me that I can't really even speak to customers, so I couldn't work on the register. They told me to clean for a little bit, and that's what I did for the 2 hours that I was there. But then they basically told me that they had no use for me and I couldn't do nothing, so I needed to go home. So, you know, of course I want to go home, but I was just like, listen, if I go home, I do not want you guys to give me any points for this, because you are sending me home. I'm sick as shit, but I'm still coming in at 5 a.m. and I'm trying to work till 2 p.m. But I am very sick, so I do need to go home, and I can't work around food and I can't work around the register, but I don't want to get points. This fuck ass manager tells me that, well, you can't stay here because you can't work around the food and you can't talk to customers, but you are gonna get points. So I don't know what kind of bullshit is that. How are you going to send somebody home and then you're going to give me 3 points? And that is exactly how much I needed to get to the 27 point fucking mark, you guys. I had 24 fucking points. And literally when you leave work, I think 4-hour notice or some bullshit like that, that like equaled to 3 points. So he gave me the points, but before he gave me the points, you guys, he told me go to the doctors, get a doctor note, and that can hopefully prevent you from getting your points, and you can get your job back and it's not going to be a problem. So it was a struggle for me, and he was really rude about it. Like, he doesn't understand, not every single body situation is easy. Not everybody has insurance, not everybody has access to it. It's not always easy access. So after figuring things out and struggling for like 20 minutes, I went and I got a doctor's note. After he gave me the points, you know, he was like really pissing me off, because I went and I did the doctor's note, and then they told me that once you get the doctor's note, you can't come into work for 3 days. So then I took the 3 days, and I wasn't tripping because I just worked 9 days straight. But he kept trying to call me into work, and it was like, I'm not scheduled to work. And number two, you told me to get the doctor's note, and you know, like I know, once you get the doctor's note, you can't come into work for 3 days. So I don't know what he told the managers and stuff, but I think that they wrote down extra points, like, and said that like I didn't come in one of the days, but I wasn't supposed to come. So the store manager, like the general manager, he didn't really give a fuck about all that, but they ended up terminating me because of those 3 points that they sent me home. That is complete wrongful termination. I don't know, what do you guys think? Because I did not choose to go home. I didn't miss work. I wasn't late. I worked till 7 something that day, and my shift was from 5 a.m. till 2. Mind you, I was originally supposed to work from 2 to 10, but they just used me as like some lab rat since I was like super young and like one of the younger supervisors there, and it really pissed me off. But when they called me, like they called me 2 hours before I was supposed to work. They called me 2 weeks later, after the whole incident happened with you know, them giving me 3 points. And they called me after the whole, you know, slave master incident happened too. So I was just over it. And he called me 2 hours before my shift, and he was just like, you know, at first I didn't answer the phone call, and then I saw in the voicemail he said, you know, answer me and give me a call back before you come into work. When I saw that, I got a little bit scared, so I called them, and you know, he basically confirmed what I thought. You know, he said that, you know, HR gave them a call and said that I got too many points, and I pointed out. He told me that I could give them a call if I had any complaints about anything and fight for my job. But I was just like, you know what? No, because I told him specifically, I feel like y'all are trying to set me up to come out of here anyways. And I feel like everything happens for a reason. Now I work for FedEx and they pay $16 an hour. So everything happens for a fucking reason. And until I actually get my college degree, you know, right now I'm hustling to get any job that is gonna pay well. Number 10, would I recommend this job to another person? There's like some reasons I would say yes, I would recommend it to somebody, and there's also some reasons where I would not recommend it based on my experience alone. For fast money, I would recommend the job to somebody because, you know, it is a very convenient location. It's a gas station. It's very fast paced, and gas stations always need people. It's 24 hours. The time is really good. So if you're like in a situation where you're just trying to work right now to get through school, or you're just trying to work to save up some money on the side, I would work for Sheetz. The environment would make me not recommend it to another person though, because I don't think that if you're like another pretty girl, you would want to work there. You're gonna get a lot of sexual harassment working at a gas station. I'm just gonna tell you that from my experience. Okay, you're gonna get a bunch of guys hitting on you, and you're gonna get a lot of sexual harassment from your co-workers as well, male and female. I've had it happen with both. So it was like really that and the racism stuff, I would say no, it is not worth it. But if you, like I said, are in like some deep shit and you need some money for fast money, yes, I would recommend it. For a long-term job, no, I would not recommend working here for a long time. And it's crazy because the people that work there, like there was one lady there, she worked there for 27 fucking years, this old ass lady. And I was like, hell no, bitch. Like, I'm not working at no damn gas station for 27 years of my fucking life. Once you work there around 3 months, you'll really get to know your environment, and you'll get to know if this is gonna work for you. For what it's worth, if you're gonna work there, yeah, work there for like 3 to 4 months and up. Don't work there as a long-term job because it's really easy to get stuck in that position working at the gas station. But you know, you have to do a drug test, you have to do a background check, and you have to wait for all of that to clear up. You have to do an orientation. You have to do 2 interviews. It's a lot of stuff that you have to do to work at Sheetz. It's a long process before you get hired. So just have that in mind. If you're like in rush to get a job right now, Sheetz might not be the best job for you because you have to wait before your background check and your drug test to come back before they even call you to start your job and have a start day. And also when you're working there, like as a supervisor and even as a team member, you have to do training over the computer. They have something called like Talent Works or something, and you do training online. So you get paid for it and you do it during your shift, but there's a lot of stuff you have to do just to be a supervisor or just to be a cashier for Sheetz. So take that into consideration. Take everything I said into consideration. The pay, the uniform, look at the location, and that is what I would use to like see if working at Sheetz would be a good fit for you or not. That is the end of the video. I hope that you guys really enjoyed the video. Feel free to ask me any questions in the comment section down below about Sheetz. You know, I'll answer whatever I can answer. And you know, let me know if you guys want to see any other videos. I have a lot of job experience videos coming up for you guys. I wanted to get this out so I can finally get rid of this damn fucking uniform. I'm probably gonna sell it on Mercury or something. Give this video a thumbs up. Let me know if you have any more questions and subscribe to my channel. I will see you guys in the next video. Bye.
Charlie?